What is going on, shrimp keepers? This is Rob with flipaquatics.com, and today we are talking about the gallery. I'm so excited. This is a project that has been going on for so long. You see the 480 behind me. We're actually getting that plumbed in today so that we can set it up. I'll show you all the details. We got a bunch of breeding tanks behind me. Just so excited. So this is finally taking form, and so let's jump right into this video. Overview of what the gallery is. First of all, this is my desk, complete disaster. This is what it looks like on a day-to-day. So this thing is getting cleaned up because we have to move it, but just wanted to show you the raw footage. And then we got all these tanks on the wall, which are a bunch of breeding tanks. They're all the 10-gallon Dennerle Shrimp King tanks. Just a really great tank. We have all these tanks throughout the middle. This one's a 300-gallon. I think we're selling this one. Got a sump. We got a 240, a 200, a 300. We got another 300. We got another 300. This is a 75-gallon sump. We got some 60-gallon cubes over there, and just really cool. And so we are getting this thing underway. We got Tyler in the background working in his office. We got all of our shrimp art right here. We got the shelf up top, which I actually have a light that goes up there, and it looks really cool. Now this is my second passion. No, this is something I really enjoy. These are a bunch of Hot Wheels toys. So shout out to all the people out there that collect Hot Wheels. These are all the ones that I collect. And so I figured, you know, might as well merge my two passions, and I can't keep them at the house or display them. So figured I might as well display them there. But today I want to oh, I forgot, 480 gallon over here. So I'll walk through my kind of plan for this room today and show you each tank individually, kind of what we're doing. I'll give you a tour of what we're keeping in all these tanks that are set up, and really dive in. Now, one of the first things I want to do is I actually want to move my desk, kind of put it right here so that I'll be looking at the 480 from the back side, and my chair will kind of sit in here. Desk will go this way and then this way. I kind of have two chairs over here if I'm meeting with employees, or if somebody comes in to visit with me. And then I want to have a tank kind of going somewhere close to this, so it kind of like separates that area. So when you're in this room, you don't look over and see potentially a messy desk, you see just aquarium. So that's that. 480 is going here. The reason I wanted to put it here is simply because I wanted you to walk in and see my favorite tank. So that's what we're thinking for that. And then we're gonna do a couple miscellaneous tanks down here. We got the 300, I'm pretty sure it's going there. Don't know what's going on with this one, which we haven't even talked about that one yet. I got some plans for that. And then I'm not sure if we're gonna keep this one here or we'll end up putting this 300 gallon here. Still determining that. And then we're gonna do a big conference table in the middle so that we have a place to do meetings with the whole team. So that's kind of what we're thinking, and I'll just be excited to see this whole thing come together. So since we're setting up the 480 first, I kind of wanted to show you what we got going on. So Mark's currently plumbing this in right now. We have two overflows from the sump coming down here, and we actually drilled a hole in the floor so that goes down and picks up the drain. The lower line is actually where we're gonna tie our pump into, so it's gonna come over, and that way if we need to ever drain the sump, we have the ability to do that. And then we actually have another hole, which is right there, and that's going to bring our water up, which is already heated, it's already filtered, and then we're going to have water come up in this back corner so we can do an easy water change. And then I don't know what we're going to do with this. I reached out to Tanner from Serpa Design today, and hopefully he'll be able to come up and do a couple scapes for us. But kind of what I'm thinking is do like a center island with open area along this whole side, along that side, and along the back. So you can kind of look at it from all three different sides. So that's kind of what I'm thinking for the 300 or the 480. Not 100% sure what we're going to stock in here just yet. I have some really cool ideas, but I don't want to spoil anything. So you'll just have to sit back and wait and see what we end up doing in here. But super excited for this project. Next up, I wanted to talk through these 10-gallon tanks. Again, these are the Shrimp King / Dennerle 10-gallon tanks. They all come with this filter right there. It's a little spray bar, the light, and the tank. And some of these tanks we set up a long time ago, which is this one and all these ones down here. Some of them don't have shrimp, and a lot of them have been neglected. Like, look at this. It's got some crazy growth going on it, which I've never seen before. It's actually eating away at the algae. So not 100% sure what that is. If you guys know what that is, let me know down below. But I want to go through these tanks one at a time and show you what we're keeping in them. And a lot of them are breeding, like just off the bat. I mean, you see there's a new baby right there. But really cool stuff we have going on here. And so let's go ahead and go tank by tank. So the first two tanks currently don't have anything in them besides like snails. This guy, the first one, I think originally we were going to put royal blues in it, and we just ended up not having enough to put in there. This tank we actually put royal blues in, and the tank crashed, so we kind of just let it go for for the past like 2 or 3 months. And so this is what it looks like now. But this tank is actually the first tank that we actually have stocking in. This is actually orange-eyed blue tigers. So you can see there's a couple adults. We got one right there, and then one out in the back. And then there are some babies in here. Not a ton, but you can see like here's one on the front of the glass, and then here's another bigger one on the front of the glass. And so this tank has a ton of tannins because we use the grapevine wood, which just releases a ton of tannins and has a ton of mulm on it. And then we just have some really basic plants. I want to say we have dwarf sage in the back, Nubius nana petite in the front. There's one floating, and then tons of dockweed. So we need to get in maintenance this tank, but you know we're getting there. We're real close. Next up, we have a tank that doesn't really have anything in it. I want to say this is jungle vow in here. I'm not 100% sure because we didn't label it, and they all pretty much look identical. But some type of vow, or no, not dwarf sage. It's too narrow leaves. But this one doesn't have anything in it, just except for 2 nearite snails. And we have these real cool Buddha nut pods that are in here. I think these are the Buddha nut pods. And eventually we might put some pistos or something in here. So we're going to do a mix of nano fish and shrimp in these tanks. And real excited to see how these turn out. Next up, we have a royal blue tank. Now these guys are just gorgeous. We actually have a couple of these tanks throughout the gallery, just because we wanted to make sure that we had a couple different colonies going into them, try some different parameters, see what they breed best in. And this seems to be the one that's doing the worst out of all of them. And it's still not doing bad. Like the adults are still hanging in there, but they're not thriving like I'd want to see. So there's another one back there. We also have the nearite snails, which people always ask, can you keep nearite snails with caridina? And the answer is yes. You just need to watch their shell, so make sure to keep calcium in the water, and they tend to do pretty good. And then in the background, we have Crypt spiralis, and then a really nice piece of spiderwood, which is basically just the root of a tree. And this tank has done pretty well for us. Next up, we have a really dirty tank, which has Scuterelia. I want to say Scuterelia, but it's not. It's a different type of pod, but it starts with an S. And I apologize that I don't know it off the top of my head. I've never actually pronounced it out loud until now. But this tank has some ram's horn snails in it. There are some shrimp in here. I believe they're orange-eyed blue tigers, but I haven't seen them in a while. I just see the molts. Like, there's a molt right there. So tons of hiding places in here. And we got dwarf hairgrass in here, which is shocking that it's doing so well with such little maintenance. Like, it is literally spreading. I wouldn't say like crazy, because it would be much thicker if it was doing exceptional, but it's living, it's doing well. And you know, these tanks get minimal maintenance. They get no fertilizers. Really, the only thing that's in here is the ram's horn snails. So it's doing good, surprisingly. We have my wife's favorite shrimp, which is a shrimp that I bred a really long time ago. I believe these ones we got from a local hobbyist. But these are super princess bees, which are really pretty type of paracaridina, and which means they're just smaller than caridina. And there's another one back there. And on top of that, we just have this really cool moss in here. I gotta ask my wife exactly what it is, but it's just really pretty because it's so big, and the nodes on it are just awesome. You can see there's some ram's horn snails in there as well. And then we use these teddy bear cholla wood, or cholla wood, however you want to say it, chunks, to plant some of the moss. And you can see they're just doing fantastic. So This chunk that's behind the moss actually had this moss in it. It came out and then it just grew like crazy from there. And these ones are actually growing out the side. And I think it's really interesting that there's like white roots growing out of the side of both of these pieces of teddy bear. And so super interesting. And then floating up top, we have a sword. I believe we have another sword over here, which I want to say is the red melon sword. You can see there's some really, really pretty growth on it. Again, we do minimal maintenance on this. And then we got regular duckweed up top, and then the extra large or the giant duckweed as well. And then the rest of these tanks are pretty bare, so I can just jump through them really, really quick. But first off, we have the orange-eyed red tigers, which have some interesting blue colors to them. And so they have red stripes with their bodies like a real blue. So who knows what they actually are. They definitely have the red stripe, so just the mixing kind of brings in that blue tissue instead of clear tissue. But a little bit of suboster tank in there also, which is a really, really good plant that we always recommend for shrimp tanks. Next up, we have our Galaxy Nanasi tank. Now, this tank's been doing really well for us, and these guys have actually been multiplying pretty good. I checked in here earlier, and there was actually some buried ones. I believe this is one up front. It looks like it. But just a beautiful shrimp. You can see, like, this one's got a decent pattern. There's some other ones in here. Like this one over here has a really good pattern. And so I'm really happy with how this tank's going. We have another one back there, a big mama, and then tons of them over here on the suboster tank. So really cool tank, really cool shrimp. Next up is probably my favorite shrimp in the gallery, which is the orange-eyed blue devil, which I just think are a stunning shrimp. A lot of these we've bred ourselves. There's actually babies in here. I can't see any right now, but there's definitely little babies in here. And these guys just do really well for us. And just beautiful color. That blue with the orange eyes just really pops. You can see these guys are just absolutely stunning. So definitely my favorite shrimp in the gallery right now. Next up, we have the orange-eyed royal blue tigers again. This is another colony, and this one's actually breeding. You can actually see one of the babies right here in front of one of the adults. And just a beautiful shrimp. Like that blue just pops. The orange eyes pop again. Something with blue and orange I just really, really enjoy. And again, royal blues were one of the shrimp that really got me started in this business and really made us successful as Flip Aquatics. So love having these in the gallery. Next up, we have some orange-eyed yellow devils, which are a pretty funky looking shrimp if you ask me. But they are breeding. A lot of these are bred here at Flip Aquatics. You can see this one has a couple eggs on her, not a ton, but just a really, really funky shrimp. But a cool one to be breeding in the gallery and a fun breeding project for us. Next up, we have some yellow calicos, but they're pretty much like the yellow devil slash blue devil without the orange eyes. You can see, like, here's a funky looking one right up front. That's actually an orange hide. That actually looks like a royal blue tiger that maybe somehow got in here when we were transferring them. So definitely got to pull that one out. But just a funky looking shrimp again. To me, it has like a red coloration to it with some clear body. There's another one right here. Funky shrimp. Next up, we have our dragon bloods, which are really, really popular shrimp. Pretty hard to get still. Fairly expensive. I want to say probably around $30 a piece. You can see there's a big old female in the subwasser tank. I wish I could get a better shot on her. She's got a ton of eggs. Looking around, you can actually see that there's a baby there. There's one right there. There's another one. And so these guys are breeding pretty good. One tip with these guys is they prefer much harder water. So we try to keep their TDS at like 220, 250 with just GH. They like that high GH but the low pH. And so far so good with these guys. We lost some definitely during the move, which was very unfortunate when we moved them from the old Caradina room to the now gallery. It was tough on a lot of shrimp. So luckily we were able to get these guys really rebounded and breeding again and doing well. And let's see if this female will give us a picture of her eggs. Oh, nope, the female's still back there. Little stinker. Next up, we have the black calicos. Now these guys are super prolific. You can see They are just littering the tank. And we need to actually probably sell some of these to dwindle down the colony and give them room to breed some more. Add some more fixtures to their tanks like botanicals, some plants, things like that. But right now we just have the bear setup, which is a little bit of Brightwell shrimp stratum, or Brightwell shrimp soil, which is the Rio Oscuro, and then some Subwasser tank. Here is another royal blue tiger tank. Now this one's breeding also. You can actually see one of the babies right there, another one right there, and then the royal blues. There's about 10 to 15 in here. Just really, really pretty shrimp. Again, like let me really get up close on these guys. Just amazing shrimp. The color, the eyes, it all just pops. So always love seeing these guys. And then last but not least are the red ghosts. I want to say these ones are the orange-eyed red ghosts. Yep. Luckily, there's a buried female right up front to kind of showcase her. There's some other funky-looking ones over here that we need to call, which are in the Subwasser tank. There's two more in the back that look like, you know, the yellow calico almost. Just some really cool shrimp. So we definitely have some funky shrimp in here, some cool shrimp. And we'll be excited to list some of these on the website and really redo their homes and, you know, kind of see what happens with all these different breeding projects. Now, these tanks aren't set up, and the reason for that is, one, we didn't need them for the shrimp that we had. And the other reason is I want to do videos specific to different species of Nano fish and also different shrimp, like set up one specific for cherry shrimp so you guys can see the process that we use to set up a tank for breeding and even keeping them just for success so you guys can have success at home and mimic what we do here. And then these tanks, we're going to do something similar. We're actually going to go one tank at a time and redo these tanks, not, you know, suck all the water out, change the substrate, things like that, but definitely add some plants to it and really get these tanks looking good. And you know, just have a lot of fun with this and really make it into some good content, some good learning things for you all. And you know, it's going to be a fun experience. So I'm really excited just for this gallery in general. And shout out to all my Hot Wheel collectors out there. But this is going to really be a lot of fun. So I'm excited to see this gallery take shape. So it feels good to be able to make another video for you guys. Back to back, 2 weeks in a row. Let's keep the streak going. It's always good to talk to you guys, see how you guys are doing, hear the comments from you, read the comments from you, I should say. But you guys make it a great rest of your week, a great weekend ahead. As always, thank you guys for tuning in. God bless you, and we'll catch you on the flip side.